Greetings! It's now pretty much autumn. The sizzle from summer has gone away. It's time to take some questions from you. It's the weekend, it's Saturday. Not the greatest time to go out. There's a festival going on in Yurakucho for the Tokyo Islands that I wanted to go to, but doesn't look like I'm going to make it. I'm at home editing videos, so I thought I would take some time out and answer some of the questions, not just in the live chat, but from people that have left comments on the videos over the last couple of weeks. We found some, well, I guess they're good ones. YouTube allows me to isolate just the questions. So if you ask something with a question mark, I'll be able to find it and then be able to screenshot it and then put it here for the next one. And we'll look at the live stream and get some questions as well. So the first question from 10 hours ago was, what's the best month to visit Japan? Hokkaido? Okinawa? It's kind of, for me who lives here, it's a tough question because when you think of Japan, you have to think of it in terms of the very north and the very southwest. The very north of Japan has completely different weather than the very southwest or south of Japan, which would be Okinawa. Okinawa, kind of like Florida. The north of Hokkaido, kind of like Canada. So it's really hard to answer that question. But in general, I would say right now. My first favorite month to visit Japan is the end of April and the beginning of May to about the first week of June. After the cherry blossoms. Everybody comes here for the cherry blossoms. It's usually a little bit chillier. After you've been to the cherry blossoms once, you don't need to come back and do it over and over again. It's a really crowded, high peak time to be visiting Japan. Don't get me wrong, it's very beautiful, but it's a challenging month because there are so many tourists here. Once the cherry blossoms end, tourism kind of goes down a little bit, and so do the prices, and so does the stress level. And the weather gets warmer, the days get longer, so there's a lot of advantages to come in May rather than to come like in the middle of March and April, which is when the cherry blossoms are. So my favorite time of the year is about April 15th to about June 7th. And then the second time of the year is like right now. It's still a little bit hot, but I'd say like around September 10th to about October 25th. It's still typhoon season. That's why this is number 2. The typhoons can roll in, and then at any time, you could have your flights canceled or delayed. And that's why I always recommend to people, go home a day early, or at least plan to go home a day early. And if your flight is canceled, then you have some buffer for work. It's good to get over the jet lag. You also, if you do go home early, you can also recover from the jet lag if you're going east and west. Maybe not for the Aussies, but typhoon season is really unpredictable. So the weather in September and October can be unpredictable as well. The ocean, the Pacific, is quite warm right now. You can tell because there's a lot of jellyfish that come in. This is why the beaches are closed at this time of year around Japan. Not because the weather is too cool. It's because there's just too many jellyfish because the water has become so warm, the Pacific, over the course of the summertime. The best time to go to the beach is probably end of June, July, and the beginning of August. Once you get to like August, August 10th to 15th, the jellyfish start coming in. It's really not as much fun. Summer is great because the days are longer and there's more activities because it's summer. There's more festivals. There are more fireworks shows around the country. It's really, in that way, an amazing time, but it's also a lot more crowded, a lot more expensive, and a lot more stressful because there's so many other people that are on the road also going to these attractions. Lines can be quite long. So my recommendation would be like now, which the kids are all back in school. Tokyo Disneyland. If you're going to Tokyo Disneyland, and this is the last part on this because it's a great question. It's not an easy one to answer. Tokyo Disneyland is great before Halloween starts. Halloween has already started at Tokyo Disneyland, and now all the people come in and flock there. If you get there like a week before the Halloween starts, when kids go back to school, there's still going to be a lot of people there, but it'll be like 20% less than usual because Halloween, people are waiting for the Halloween stuff because it's associated, Tokyo Disneyland is associated with that. Maybe even Universal Studios Japan. Before they get the decorations out, it's just like average Disney Sea experience, which is great for tourism, but the amount of people there are less. The stress level is down as they prepare for, you know, Halloween. I do like Disney Sea. I think they're fixing right now the ride for Disneyland. What's it called? Space Mountain, which if you can't ride is sort of a disappointment to go to Tokyo Disneyland, and it's much smaller. So I don't know. Disney Sea probably the way to go still. Guess who's in the house? WRX Turbo. It's so good to see you, my friend. Welcome. All right, good question to start off here. Let's go to another one. If you have any in the comments, I will take it. This is a live chat, a live stream. You can see the live chat by if you're watching on your TV. Actually, within the app on your TV, you can go into the settings and you can enable the live chat, so you can watch it while you're watching on the TV. A lot of people don't know that. At least I can on my LG C9. It's kind of cool. And you can also leave a super thanks. I get a couple of them every now and then. I appreciate it. We get super chats. The super thanks is after the live stream. I'm always so grateful for it. And I'll try to highlight the super thanks that I do get in future live streams, meaning if you do leave a thank you, I'll cut it out and I'll show it in the next live stream if I can see it in time, or the one after that. All right, let's take a look at some of the questions here that we have. Ramsey Silent is in the house for an emergency coffee. Well, Ramsey Silent, I do have an emergency coffee. Believe it or not, Thermos is now a Japanese company. This is Ramsey Silent. I'm always so grateful for the emergency coffee. And that coffee, well, not this one, but a lot of the coffee is brought to you by Diana from Singapore. Thank you always. Diana is sending me coffee, as well as some of you are also sending me coffee every now and then. It keeps me going. Great question so far here. What's the usual items to pack, writes Enjoy. All right, it seems like packing and preparing for your trip for autumn is sort of a big deal. So I'm going to go through a couple of these questions that I did receive. From I have an episode a few days ago about how to pack for October and November. And I usually take you inside a Uniqlo to show you what people are packing inside there. I wouldn't say that Uniqlo is the Walmart of clothes for Japan. I would say it's like Uniqlo is like the Old Navy of clothes. Old Navy is a U.S. chain. Old Navy actually came to Japan. They couldn't compete with Uniqlo, so they closed up shop about 7 or 8 years ago. And the quality at the Old Navy was not really that good. It was all fast fashion stuff. Uniqlo's quality was better. The price might have been a slightly more, but the quality was so much better. So Uniqlo, of course, won that war, and now it's pretty much the market. The reason why I always show Uniqlo, because it's kind of the standard. It doesn't have a monopoly by any means, but it's kind of the standard. It is everywhere in Japan. You can rely on it, and they don't really overly raise the price of the items. It's just a great go-to company, and they don't put their logo on everything. That's the one thing I can't stand about clothing these days. Everything has their logo on it. They know, like, these are the layers, the base layers that people wear, so they don't need to put their logo on stuff. And that's kind of why I'm kind of into Uniqlo a little bit more, because I don't want to promote, like, you're paying money to promote a brand. Like, I remember the polo shirts with the big polo on. I'm like, who the heck wears? Oh, that guy. It's always the guy who puts the collars up. I don't know. I might have made fun of a couple of friends like that. They make fun of me all the time too, but I have to find it. Like, I don't know. Usually people from the 1980s, but Uniqlo. All the fashion is made in other countries. Honduras, Vietnam, Bangladesh. It's really. Can you pick a brand that is not that's affordable, that is made in Japan? Not really. Japan stopped with manufacturing quite a long time ago, but you can every now and then. But they're like specialized items. Imabari in Shikoku is a town where cotton is very famous. Imabari towels are very famous. We have a lot of stuff from Imabari, but it's hard to find clothing that was made with Japanese cotton. So that's it's sort of a challenge. Joseph Perry, thank you. And Lucky Zone, are bento boxes from convenience stores healthy? That's such a great question. I have two friends, Shinichi and Satoshi. I love their channel. They're so glued onto food. But I remember I said to Satoshi and Shinichi, I was like, you guys eat a lot of convenience store food, don't you? You know that stuff's not so healthy, right? It's not. Look, Japan has an image of being really, really healthy, okay? It really does. You think of Japanese cuisine, it's going to be really healthy. And then you think the junk food is going to be really healthy too. It's not. It can be in many ways worse. Sure, they don't allow the colored dyes. There's some things that are banned. You can't get Skittles in Japan because the Skittles have a dye in it that's been banned, or at least they used to. Starburst. There's some candies that you can't import into Japan. I think Reese's peanut butter cups for a very long time could not come into Japan because of some ingredient in it that was banned, emulsifier or something. I can't remember, but I saw them when they changed the ingredient. They started imported about 10 years ago, but before that you couldn't import them in to be sold. You could only bring them in for personal use. So I got that. I also would smuggle in tasty cakes. If you're from Philadelphia, you probably know Tasty Cakes, so I would smuggle in some Tasty Cakes. I don't think they're that popular now, but they were back in the 80s and 90s when I was growing up in that area. So Japanese bento, convenience store bentos, are a last resort. Basically, a bento from a convenience store is, I don't have time, I gotta eat something. It's the same thing as fast food in my opinion. It's the same thing as McDonald's. There's a reason why usually these bentos have a shelf life that might be a little bit longer. The onigiri, I've been told, have some preservatives in there so that you don't get sick from them. So it's not like it's not bad food for you. It's just not the healthiest. I would think that a supermarket bento might be a little bit better because they're cooking it inside the supermarket. The ones at the convenience stores come from a factory. Usually the factory has to put in some preservatives or something so that people don't get sick. With that said, what convenience store chain? Each one of the convenience store chains has a different supply chain. And 7-Eleven has done a really great job. Family Mart has caught up. Lawson seems to be doing... they've all, I think, gotten a lot better than they did about 10 years ago. I remember they did like the tempura bentos, the tendon nori bentos, had kind of a chemical aftertaste to it. I mean, like, you can tell, like, if you drink like a Coke with your bento, which I probably did 25 years ago, you would burp a little bit, but you could taste the food like you do with McDonald's, right? Like, there's some sort of additive in there. I don't really get that so much with the convenience store bentos, but it is not healthy food. This is food that Japanese, like, comfort food, I guess you could say, for most of the bentos. And they're being microwaved in plastics. Let's not talk about the microplastics. I know, like, it's something that they really need to do more research in. But one thing that surprised some of the viewers was that Itoen has tea bags in these triangle things with plastic. I stopped drinking from those because I don't know how much microplastic is being put in my tea, and it's just safer to use paper tea bags or loose tea with the metal in there. And Itoen makes loose tea, and I buy Itoen as well as local Shizuoka tea all the time, green tea. But the tea bags in there that are so convenient, when you put them into super hot water, you have to think there's going to be some plastic leaching. I don't have any scientific data on that, but I think it's probably safe. But I kind of worry about the plastic stuff a little bit more than I used to as I started to get concerned about it. Maybe because I watch YouTube too much, but just something to think about. It's probably safe to do, but I think microwaving the plastic food, even though they say it's microwavable safe, I can't imagine that there's no plastic not leaching into the food. You know what I mean? So it's better to have it cooked and put into like a plate made of glass or something, right? So I'm always thinking like that. So there's different ways to, I guess, look at it. Scott Tan, appreciate the Q&A. I'm glad that you're here, Scott. I'm glad that you're here. Yeah, it's Lay's chips for years because of the chemical flavoring. Yeah, you know, Frito-Lay, some of the companies, I think they're trying to change to meet the consumer demands of the products. I think it seems like it's safe to eat in moderation. Okay, I'm not gonna say I will never tell anybody not to eat stuff, because I gotta be honest with you, I freaking eat that stuff. You just saw me the other day eating Kit Kats. So it's not like I'm telling you don't eat junk food. I think everything in moderation is going to be just fine. Speaking of food here, this is the Daimyo package that I'm sending out to my Patreon supporters. It has a bag of the apple pie Kit Kats in here. This one is cool. I usually put the chips in there just to fill the bag. This is toasted corn flavored Calbee potato chips. Calbee is the best. They always make the packaging look so good. It's made with real butter. So it's got a butter corn flavor to it. Looks really good. In this box, I also have the Mr. Donuts Tummy Car, which is limited edition, I think, because it's been sold out in some places. So this one's in the box here. If you like Mr. Donuts, you can drive around your house with it. I send these out here. And this is the main package for this month. It is the Aki Koko. Koko are these confections from Shizuoka. It's a Shizuoka-based, I guess you could say like bakery. They use the water from Mount Fuji and the eggs from the Fuji region. And they make these kind of small cupcakes. One of them is Mambran, which is a chestnut flavor. The other one is their normal Shizuoka egg flavored, like I guess you'd say like a sponge cake. It's really good. And there's cream in the middle of it, which is even better. And the other one was, I can't remember, some fall flavor. Maybe I'll just open it up later on. But that's the box for this month. I will send that to you for all the Daimyo supporters. And I have 2 more left. I have 2 more to sell for this month. They're going out on Monday. So for the Daimyo supporters, I'm really grateful. I don't know. You can eat the convenience store bentos, but do it in moderation. Like everything in moderation. I don't eat potato chips all the time, but I will open a bag. By the way, we open them not here, like this in Japan. We open them on the back and open it from the middle of the back, and then everybody can put their fingers into it, right? Instead of trying to reach into the bag just opens up, and it's great for groups of people. So that's sort of a Japanese hack where you open it up in the middle of the bag, and then it opens up wider so you can get your greasy palms in there. Greasy fingers, I should say. If you got greasy palms from eating chips, you got some problems with the way you eat chips. I love that question. Thank you for that. Choco Mocha is here. Hey, thank you. Thank you. So, I'm in Tokyo. Where will you be tomorrow? This is a question, I think, a really general question I want to answer. So I have not been, I don't usually announce my live streams very far in advance, because there have been some weird people that have been stalking, sending messages. My wife is a little bit afraid, so I don't give a lot of heads up on where I'm going to be, so you can't expect it. But if you're if I know you and you are a Patreon supporter, let's just say, and we've been contacting back and forth, and you ask me, I might tell you. If you're on the Discord server, I might announce it there a little bit in advance, but I don't really see too much of an advantage after, I can't imagine somebody would want to do something, but after getting some threatening messages from people in the past, it's just not worth. It's a challenging thing, I think, in these days. When I was doing the live streaming, it was such a new platform. I love doing the meetups, and I still might do it, but I might do them indoors rather than outside on the street. There's just a lot of weird odd people. But I'd say like 99% are not. And I get stopped in the streets all the time to take selfies, and people catch me when I'm live. But one of the reasons I didn't make the You Found Me cards, actually two, I couldn't find the file, and the other one was just, I don't know, that's a challenging thing. I don't know, but I've gotten threatened. I could show it to you, but let's just see how everything plays out. Sometimes it can be I don't know, like the risk isn't worth it, sort of a thing. But this could all change, and I do think doing some meetups at established places is probably a pretty good idea, where people make reservations in advance, and it's safer for everybody because, like, there are some cuckoo people out there, you know. So now that I have a son and a family, we're kind of a little bit more, just a little bit more. We think about it, you know, and I think it's a pretty good idea to think about it. But yeah, that's to answer that honestly, right? I think you have to answer it honestly. Another question about clothing: how are the sizes for Americans? There's no reason why I'm smiling. Is it realistic to shop in Japan if you wear an L or XL in the US? That's a great question. Thank you for that. I used to be, when I was at Ohio State, I used to buy XL stuff, because I think back in the 90s, remember Jerry Seinfeld? Everything was a little bit baggy and people wore things bigger. I was probably an L, but I would buy XL stuff. And now when I go home for Christmas, my dad is wearing all my stuff from college. I don't know how I should feel about that. I guess my 90s stuff is back in fashion, especially the Abercrombie and Fitch stuff. Oh my God, Abercrombie and Fitch made the best stuff back in the 1990s. That stuff still, like 30 years later, is holding its own. And they had the little Abercrombie thing on the side. They made some amazing button-down shirts that have stood the test of time. I don't know about now, but I find that he's wearing my stuff, which is a little bit bizarre to me. But they fit him better than me because I'm now, either I shrunk or the size has changed. I'm now an M size, medium. I used to be, I would say, large in 1993, 1994, but now I'm a medium, which is weird. So the sizes over the last 30 years changed. In Japan, I'm an XL. And the problem with that, I'm 180 centimeters tall, 5'11", and I don't know, I'm somewhat thin. I guess I'm you know, athletic in a way. I'm extra large, but the shoulders fit really good, but the girth it's too much material. So I want you to think about that with sizes. With pants, it's also an issue because the length is usually not long enough. Japanese body type is different than Westerners. Japanese would always, a lot of Japanese would comment and say that I had such long legs. So, well, thank you very much. And I had a very small face. And I remember, I didn't know how to feel about this, but Japanese, especially the girls, if we went out drinking and stuff at izakaya after work from English teacher, we go out drinking and we talk to people, and I was usually with other teachers and stuff. And the girls would come up to me and go, they'd touch my face. It's really weird. I guess because they were drinking too, and they go, "Kojichai," and they'd say it like this, like, what? And I didn't know how to feel about that because it's like, we don't really make comments in the West about people's body sizes and whether it's small or not, but people would be touching my face and saying how small my face is. It's true, I can't find a hat that fits me in Japan because Japanese heads are much bigger than mine. My wife comments that she sometimes says, "John, can you take a step back, or can you take a step forward so my head looks the same size as your head?" Is that not weird? And you can use the kana emoji if you're a traveler. I bet you that's gonna pop up right now. But my wife will say, can you be a little bit, that's why she always asks me to take the selfie, because then I'm closer than her, so her head looks smaller compared to mine. I don't think she has a big head. Now that we talked about that and embarrassed both me and my wife and the Japanese people, I guess we can talk about sizes. Socks, yes. No problem with socks or underwear for that problem. T-shirts, I'm a large size, and I found that the Uniqlo Airism t-shirts are longer. You can say longer in length, but the regular ones, they're shorter in length, and that's kind of, they shrink. So it's not really. Now we're seeing the emoji. We got the Kanai, but Ramsey Silent Illuminads. You guys going crazy with that. I see. There's my wife. She's always watching. You just join the Travelers to use the. Oh, I love that. That's cool. As a woman who buys small, I get medium or large in Japan. Exactly. I think you got to go a size larger than usual. Yeah, for sure. Like my wife in Japan before Leo came was like a size 0 or 1. Like extra small. Now she's like a small or even a medium. In the United States, a small. But she used to be extra small. And in Japan, she's like normal. So when you think about it like that, yeah, Japanese sizes are different. So when you go to Uniqlo, they do have extra large sizes, extra large at the Ginza store and the Shinjuku, like the big ones. You'll find an area with the American sizes. And the Uniqlo in America seems to be bigger sized for American people than in Japan. So the reason why Uniqlo America is more expensive than Uniqlo Japan is because they had to make the sizes different, is what I was told from a friend. I can't confirm that, but the sizing it's different made for the market. So an extra large in the United States is different than an extra large in Japan. That's what I was told. I have not bought anything from Uniqlo America, so I can't confirm that. But there's definitely a price difference. Uniqlo in the U.S. is definitely more expensive than here in Japan. There's like no question about it. Uniqlo is like a high-ranking brand in the United States compared to Japan. It's like, I don't know. Again, it's like the old navies of Japan, which is good. It's like it's the old faithful, you know. So I hope that helps. That's a great question. All right, this is one. I don't know why why don't I get like Japan travel questions? If a tourist buys an iPhone 17 there, is it a better deal? Cheaper than somewhere else, tax-free, and will it have warranty services international outside? Such a great question. When you think about shopping, the answer to this is no. But historically, and I've been here, you know, for a long time. Back in when was it? 2014 and 2015. I used to go to Google, the headquarter office, all the time, and we would have events there. There's a YouTube space at the Google in Roppongi. They've moved their offices. YouTube to Shibuya, but when they had their offices in Roppongi, I interacted a lot with foreigners that were living in Japan working at Google. And every time the iPhone, this is so funny, even though they had the Pixel and Samsung, almost all of the Google employees would go and get the iPhone because even then the cameras were just so much better. I think it's caught up quite a bit, but the Google employees, I was there the day they launched it, and you couldn't really order it like you do then. They would go to the Apple store and wait in line and get the iPhone because it was a little bit cheaper than in the United States. They would just buy it SIM-free. And I think you can get them SIM-free in Japan at the time. And they were cheaper because, I don't know, I think the exchange rate or whatever. These days, no, it's more expensive. And I think they put the exchange rate right now is, let me see here, do I have it? The exchange rate right now is 147, it's like 148 to the dollar. I think they priced it at 150 yen to the dollar. So I'm embarrassed to say how much I paid for my smartphone. I do it because I need it for what I do here. But I got the iPhone 17 Pro, not the Max. Like, it's just too big. It's too much of a risk that it'll fall and everything. Where you go is good enough. I always get 1 terabyte of memory. That was, and I never get Apple Care because I've never dropped the phone. That was 250,000 yen. That's freaking expensive for Japanese. That's like a month's salary for Japanese. I get it because I haven't renewed the phone in 3 months or 3 years, and that's what it costs. Despite the tariffs, despite everything else, it's still cheaper to get the iPhone in the United States than it is in Japan, at least for this market. There might be other countries where it's different. It is not cheap, folks. And I think that the demand for the iPhones are going down because the market, Japan has always been, Japan is a follower country. It's not, you don't have leaders or people who try to be individualistic. People are individualistic in a different way in Japan than they are in the West. They might look the same, but then you'll see that they have like orange socks. They might look the same, but their shoes might be yellow and pink. Like they're like little touches with the accessories are the way to customize to get around it, but everybody wants to kind of, you know, the nail that stands up gets hammered down. They're different and individualistic in their own ways. But a lot of people are followers in the sense that, hey, everybody's got an Apple, so I'm going to get an Apple too. Everybody's doing this trend, so I'm going to do this trend too. More so than in the West. So right now, a lot of people got Apples, so they got a lot of Apples that are being purchased, despite the fact that it really is a rip-off. I don't think that for the Japanese yen and the income that people are making and the price increase, like 30% more than it was 3-4 years ago, I don't think it's good value. But why do I even get it? I'm still figuring that out. Because it's compatible. The cameras are better. It's compatible with my MacBook Pro and my earbuds. My wife has it. Hers is an iPhone 12 Pro. So it just sort of is, I like to airdrop it. I like to airplane. I'm just used to it. And as soon as Google or Samsung make it a phone that's better, and I don't think that the Samsung 25 Ultra is better. I think, who is it? Mr. Who's the Boss did a comparison and he said for video, the iPhone is still superior. So until they do a better job. But I don't think that it's a good idea to buy your iPhone here in Japan. The other reason not to buy it in Japan, they have this, when you take a picture, by law, I believe it's a law, you have to have this shutter button sound. Because there's a lot of these upskirt photos and stuff, like some real shady stuff. So by law, you can't turn that off on phones that you buy in Japan. You're always going to get that, you know, that digital iPhone photo sound. You can't turn it off. Even if you're in a quiet place, you can't, unless you get an app or a third-party app, you can't turn it off by law because they want everybody to know that you're taking a picture. It's really annoying because when I take a screenshot, it goes off too. For screenshots. And I'll be doing that on the, let's say I want to share with my wife my train information. I take a screenshot and I send it to her. It makes a camera noise. And people on the train, everyone's looking at me. Like, did you take a picture of me? You can't turn that off with Japan-based iPhones. So just a little bit of a note here. Oh, we got some gifting memberships. This is cool. Chocomocha, Walter L. Walters. We're getting some gifts in here. I don't know who gifted them. Who gifted them? Thank you. That's really nice. You know who does it? Patrick. When Patrick is here, it's been a while. He always gifts stuff to people. So that was a good question about shopping in general. But when it comes to the iPhone, it's not really a good idea. All right. Is there any reason why, I brought this, I was talking about this before. Is there any reason why Yahoo is still in the mainstream in Japan? Oh, and Walter L. Walters sent a question. Let's do his question first because it came in here. Walter writes in here. Could you explain the people coming to Japan this year, the importance of not overspending on a JR Rail Pass? That's a good question. It's a tough question. JR Rail Pass prices went up. It was overdue. For at least 10 years, they didn't raise the price at all. And tourists were getting a roaring deal. In fact, a lot of citizens, when they found out how much tourists were paying, were extremely upset because the average everyday person was footing the bill. Tourism numbers we are seeing were not dependent on the JR Rail Pass being cheap. A lot of people said, I'm not coming to Japan because the rail price went up. Guess what? Japan tourism is still going up like this, and JR really needed to make the money because during the pandemic, revenue was way down, and but they were a very good company. They did not lay off a lot of workers, despite the fact that they kept going in the red. So what they did is they made the pass prices fair. You might not think it's fair because you got a roaring deal. It really was a great deal. But depending on how you use a pass will determine whether or not it's actually valuable. You should not be commuting. It defies the point anyways. There were people that would commute to like far, like I had a friend that tried to do a day trip to Kagoshima. All right, that's like 10 hours away on the Shinkansen. So they take the first Shinkansen there, and then they tried to take the Shinkansen back. They were there for an hour, and they just wanted to eat the Ekibenzen right on the train for like 20 hours. It was really, that's kind of weird. But I don't even think they made it. I think they ended up stopping Hiroshima. It's like too much for them. But if you're traveling a lot out in the countryside, it does make sense to get the JR pass, but you have to do the math. You have to do your homework. There are regional passes. Kanai, Leo, actually I can go and get it for you. Kanai, Leo, and I are getting, hold a second, are getting the, are using the JR East pass, and I have one right here. I think I can show it to you. I don't think it's getting in trouble. Get in trouble for showing it to you. I've got like a bunch of tickets for a trip that we're doing in beginning of October. This is Leo's. This is really important. Okay, this is Leo's. Is there a number I shouldn't show you? I'm just gonna put the finger here. So this is Leo's ticket. It says here child. All right. Now the reason why I got Leo does not need to have a ticket. I think you have to get a ticket when you're like from 7 or 8 years old. But if your child is going to have a seat and sit down, then you need to get a ticket no matter how old they are. However, a lot of non-reserves, no one's really going to check, so you can do that. But we got Leo the child seat because we're going to be, I'm doing a shoot with JR, so I don't want to break the rules. But I also want to support JR too. I think the prices are fair. This price for a child is $100 for 5 days of Shinkansen travel. That pays for itself. Kids are normally half price anyways, if they're under elementary school. Is it under elementary school? Junior high school or something? Kids are typically half price. So this pays for itself in like almost one Shinkansen trip. The normal JR East Rail Pass, here I have it right here. My pass, where is it? Right here. This is 5 days of unlimited travel for 30,000 yen. I pay for the trip going to Akita and back. And then I have 4 days of travel that I could use in the Tohoku region. If you go to Aomori from Tokyo one time, I think that's half the price. So the passes now make more sense financially for JR, and it's more fair because why should Japanese get screwed, right? Why should citizens get screwed? I can get this pass because I have a foreign passport. I have an American passport, but I'm a resident of Japan, so I can't get the JR rail pass for the entire country. I can get regional passes, some of them. You got to do your homework. They make a lot of sense. The purpose of the pass, I think, is to get people outside the golden route. And just everyone was going to Kyoto and Osaka anyways. You don't need to get the pass. If that wasn't a reason why, that wasn't the cheaper pass was not why people were coming to Japan. Maybe like 0.001%, like, oh, I can get the JR Rail Pass for a real cheap price, so I'm going to go. That was not why people were coming to Japan. JR knows that. They made the prices fair, and you just have to do your homework. Kids rate on Suica is 11 and under. Thank you, Fallen. The advantage and why we brought our iPhones to Japan is because we still have SIM card slots. That's another great point. I'm glad that you just said that. I don't know if they do anymore, but Japan, or maybe it's a law, Japan still has SIM card slots. In my iPhone 14 in this phone, there's a micro SIM card slot. I kind of prefer that over this online stuff. But I think even Japan will probably go online, if not for this phone, for the next one. I don't know if I'm going to get a SIM card or not for this one. I don't even know how I'm going to change it over. I guess there's going to be a process to do that. I'll figure it out. Any recommendations for a place where you can see autumn leaves and stuff like that? Writes in Alex. Where? Like the entire country of Japan? I can say this. You have to ask like a region or a location. Inside Tokyo, autumn is not that great. I would say the best place is, at the parks. Ueno Park is kind of nice, but that's not until December. Autumn doesn't start in Tokyo until about December. Okay? It's December. Autumn in the mountains will start at the end of October, but it depends. Autumn has kind of already started up in the north of Hokkaido. Autumn cuisine is already out. You can go to the supermarket. All the autumn foods are out. You got, autumn Halloween Kit Kats. You've got, like autumn flavored everything. So outside of Tokyo, go to Nikko, go to Hakone, go to Kamakura. You're going to have a really nice experience. There's trees everywhere. If you want to go to a traditional Japanese inn, go to the onsen towns. You're going to have a really great place. Walker, Walker, Japan. Google Walker, Japan, autumn. You'll get a list of the top 25 spots or regions that you can go to based on that. If you really want to know, just go into ChatGPT or an AI software and write and list the top 25 places to go. They are always the same every year. They usually get a lot of travelers. It's really crowded. Prices go up, or I'd say around November 16th to December 5th. Prices are higher and accommodations are harder to get because of autumn. Retirees like to travel around Japan too, and they'll go to Kyoto and they'll go to other places to get, at least they used to go to Kyoto. I don't know if anybody wants to go there because there's so many tourists there. Used to be really hard and a lot harder to get those accommodations. So if you try to get an accommodation now for November, you're probably getting your second or third choice for the peak times for autumn. That's a good question. Will they give me a senior discount if I look old? Christian, I don't think you're that old. If you're the Christian that I think I know you are, I don't think you're that old. You mean like wear a beard or something or dye your hair gray? Probably not. Actually, I like this question because it has to do with honesty. Christian, are you an honest guy? I'm teasing a little bit, but not really. A lot of the stuff goes on the honor system with this kind of stuff. Do you want people to start to question you and to card you? So when you ask a question like that you might deceive the system, then do you think they should start to check? Because in Japan, not a lot of people will try to deceive the system to try to save like 100 or 200 yen. People have honor, all right, in Japan. That's one of the things I like about this place. So when people start to deceive the system, that's when you start to do annoying things like, oh, we got to check now. Remember that underwear bomber and the shoe bomber? Then now all of a sudden we got to take off our shoes. So it's always, one person who ruins it. Christian, don't be that person. I am honest. I don't get carded these days. I don't get carded when I go to the liquor store. Well, actually, that's not true. Once or twice. Despite the fact that I have white hair, I've been carded. And I take it as a compliment. They think I'm 21 or under. So go, really? Okay. There you go. I don't think a kid under 21 would be buying overpriced craft beer and a bottle of wine that was, over $30. I think anyone who buys a bottle of wine over $30 and buys expensive craft beer, probably over the age of 21. That's like a dead giveaway. But I don't know, every country's different. In Japan, they have the honor system. You go to the convenience store, it lists on the screen, are you over 20? Because the drinking age is 20. You push the button on the convenience store register touch screen and you say yes. And then you purchase the alcohol. That's how easy it is. And it's also a prompt for probably the store clerk to do a visual check. but I've never gotten carded in Japan. Even when I got here, and I looked less than my age when I came here in 1998. So I never got carded here. Yeah, I came here at age 24, never got carded. Honor system. You start screwing around with it, they're going to start asking for ID. Didn't they stop taking off shoes in the US by now? It depends. I've had to take off my shoes every time I went through international departures at JFK. Except when I wore sandals. So if you wear like Birkenstocks, probably not. I don't know. If you wear shoes, they kind of check in there. All right, let's get to this last question here, and I'll see if there's any in the chat. I appreciate it, guys. Is there any reason why Yahoo Japan Yahoo is a big thing in Japan? Yes. Yahoo Japan is not Yahoo America. Yahoo has been a pretty big brand here in Japan since it was purchased by SoftBank and integrated. I have a cell phone. My SoftBank cell phones, it might even go back to J-Phone or Vodafone, but I always had a Y with an exclamation point button on all my SoftBank phones. Back when they had physical buttons, there was a button with a Y and an exclamation point. And this goes back to like 2010. They still had this stuff. And you push it, you'd get this. Yahoo Japan is a different beast, okay? It's just a different thing than Yahoo America. It's like this chaotic site. It's just so messy and cluttered. This is Japanese style. They love this. I'm surprised they even have tabs. Back in the day, they just put it all on one page with hyperlinks. It was the most chaos with blinking GIF files. It was annoying, annoying and fascinating at the same time. But Yahoo is massive in Japan. Yahoo Auction makes a lot of business. Yahoo Shopping, Yahoo coupons. They have a Yahoo Travel, which is competing with Rakuten. They have Yahoo. Yahoo Travel also has where you can check the train times. So you can check out how to get from A to B, Tokyo to Sendai. When's the next train? Yahoo has a site for that. This is the Yahoo auction site. You can see used North Face jackets sold for sale here. And Yahoo Auction is used by millions of Japanese, as well as Merikari. I think that's it, Merikari, we say in Japanese. And Yahoo Auction, Yahoo Shopping. I've purchased stuff from there that I couldn't find in other shopping sites. So, you know, it's competitive with Rakuten and Amazon in many ways. Rakuten Weather is, Yahoo Weather is the one I go to probably the most because I've just been doing it for 20 years on my cell phone. And I'll look at Yahoo Weather. I'll go into, it'll go through there, and they've got radar maps and the time and the temperature and all that other stuff. This is Yahoo Shopping. It's just like this one-stop place that Japanese have been going to for a very long time. And as I said, everyone uses the services everybody is using. It's really hard for a new service to be disruptive here. So I still use Yahoo Weather. So, and SoftBank backs it, and SoftBank has been backing it for a very long time. So Yahoo is still a thing. You can get Yahoo Broadband. A lot of people in Tokyo have Yahoo Internet access. Here's the Yahoo Tenki. Tenki is weather in Japanese. Yahoo Tenki. Radar map for Tokyo, and you can go wider and see. They have earthquake updates and everything. It's all in Japanese, so I learned how to use Japanese by using the websites like this. So it's good practice. That's why Yahoo still exists. I just got this here. Does anyone know what this is? This is the gift that a lot of people don't know about from Japan. This is called, you know, everybody loves the Shinkansen, and Japanese train culture is so big. Everybody loves to ride the trains here. Prarail from Takara Tomy, which is a big toy manufacturer. This is Dr. Yellow. This is Leo's Christmas present. It just got here, so I'm going to wrap it up. Leo's not here today, so I'm wrapping Christmas presents, believe it or not. Getting stuff now. So I'm going to wrap this up. We have about an entire house worth of blue plow rail track. And we set it up where we have Shinkansens racing one another. And plow rail, this was this was $10. I think there's a light on it. And you put a battery in there and it runs on the rails. The rails you can get like, for $20, you can get a lot of rails. So you could make for $50 a pretty good little city with tunnels and things. And I set it up. isn't it kind of like the dream come true? I set it up one time where it went around to the kitchen and it looped through the room and came back to me sitting to the sofa. And Kanai said, why would you do that? And I go, okay. And I sat down on the sofa. I turned on NFL. Of course, it was like the highlights because I didn't have it back then. And I had a train that had a flat thing on it. And I said, honey, could you send me a beer? Could you get me a beer? And she's of course she's not going to do that. And I said, wait, I'll come get it myself. She says, put it on the train. So I sent the train with this plate that was taped on there, and it went right into the kitchen where she was I guess she was cooking something. And of course it didn't stop. She missed it the first time, like, what the heck? And then I said, just put it on the train, get it ready. So she put the can of beer on there, and it came to me. And then it was the funniest thing. I just wanted to try it once. After that, I've never done it before. But I had enough track to cover that. This is before, like, Leo was 1 year old. And then Leo came and he was Godzilla and he destroyed the entire train tracks. This is a bridge. This was about $3. So you can put up, it's like, looks like bricks here. There's the sides of the bridge, and this is the track that it goes on. You know what? Some families do it with sushi. It's like, I'm just being silly, all right? I'm just being silly. But you can do it with sushi. You can have like these train cars that have, actually I think they do sell them, where they even close. And you can have it run to the kitchen. You can stop it and put it there. You can run back, and then the train will come, and then you can do like your own kaiten sushi at home. So I don't know. Maybe a lot of you don't know about Pra-Rail, but I took Leo to a Play Rail convention. Let me see if I have any of that video. I'll look it up. They had a Tomikar Play Rail convention, and that's why I just love the toy world. That's why I'm putting in like this in the Daimyo package. I got 2 left if you want to sign up on Patreon. Do I have the video there? I'll look like really quickly. But Leo and I went in there and we found they had Play Rail with Tomikar, and we took our bicycles and we rode out there one Saturday, and we had a pretty good time. Is that it? No, it's Disney Sea on Ice. Hold on a second. We went to go to see that too. Where is it? Is that it? I don't know what that is. Oh yeah, okay, no. Oh, that was the week after. We went to the Odaiba Future Museum. They had like robots and stuff in there, which is kind of cool. I don't see it. Is that it? I'm just looking. Usually once a day we'll go out somewhere and hang out, Leo and I. I don't know, maybe I don't have it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I have it. Leo knows all the presidents. Does anybody know what president this is? That's all I could find. If you know what president this is, chime in right now in the chats. What president is that? Leo knows every single president. I'm not kidding you. You show his picture, he knows his first name and last name. It is insane. John Quincy Adams. John Quincy Adams. Or is it Fillmore? See, even I get confused. No, that's John Quincy Adams. Fillmore doesn't have the chaps like that. John Quincy Adams, we have to say. He always corrects me. I have a named Illuminads. That's a question here. It's not Gilmore. What are you talking about, Willis? I have a named Suica card that should technically be usable for the next 9 years, but with the switch to cardless gates, how long can I still use the IC cards if you can use them anymore? What do you think? I think it's gonna be fine. When you do come to Japan, you can go. They'll still honor it. The cash isn't gonna go away, but the system is all wireless, and I think it is attached to the same number. So the card is just a physical device where it stores your wireless data, and you transfer that wireless data to your smartphone. So I think even though you have the card, you're still going to be, once they get you can still get brand new cards. So once they get rid of the card system, just like the currency, they're going to honor that for a very long time, I believe. It's at least going to be 10 years after, probably to the 10 years after the last card is sold. They'll still honor it, and they'll probably still have touch things for a while. So despite the fact that everything will be digital and probably facial recognition, who the heck knows, Minority Report, I don't see any time soon where the physical cards are going to be obsolete. The only issue is, the problem with the physical cards is there's a chip inside there, and they are damaged pretty easily. If you just drop it and step on it, it can get damaged. The chip is really, really... I have 3 or 4 IC cards with damaged chips that I cannot get to the money, but I was lucky because it didn't have much anyways. You can get your 500 yen deposit back if you go to the window in the region that you bought it. So I have a Kitaka card from Sapporo. I cannot get my deposit back in Tokyo. You got to take it back to the region. So just as something, that's why you buy the IC cards at the airport that you're going to be leaving if you want to get your money back. But if you want to keep the card, then it's a moot point. Joey, he passed recently, has a daughter who is an actress. Did I miss something? I hope you're not saying Joey Tribbiani. What? That'd be sad. As a Tribbiani fan, don't like to hear that. I don't even like it to be insinuated. My son loves Shinkansen. Had to get the McDonald's Shinkansen meal holder. Yeah, then you know what? He's going to love this. They have the Dr. Yellow. They have the Tokaido Shinkansen. They have the Tohoku Shinkansen with the green, the Toki green, and the red Akita Shinkansen. They have the Yamanote line. They have the Sobu line. They have the Narita Express. They have like the weird trains down in Kyushu as well. It's pretty cool. They have the Sunrise Izumo. It's so much fun. It's kind of plasticky and toy-y, but like, let's be honest, you're just kind of playing around. Unless you want to invest in a really expensive model train set, which is realistic, this is a really good option, especially for kids, and it's definitely more durable. He's thrown it around and it still works pretty good. And if he breaks it, it's like 10 bucks. If I break it, it's like 10 bucks. So I don't think they're really hard to break. You can get longer ones. The long ones are about 5 cars, but the shorter ones are typically about 3 cars. But sometimes you can add on to it. There's empty cars that you can buy. There's a police train. There's trains like that don't even exist. So it's kind of cool to collect these stuff. I know it's Leo likes that. Any last questions? I'll take one more. Is the Hello Kitty train Shinkansen? They have that too as a play rail. They have the Hello Kitty Shinkansen, and I believe it's still running. From Kansai. They had a one-piece train that ran from Kansai down to Hakata. So I don't know if the Hello Kitty one's still running. There used to be an Evangelion Shinkansen train too. So I think it just comes in the seasons, right? Would you say Japan is a great place? It's a hard question. A great place to live for a middle-aged single male? Would you call yourself middle-aged, David? How old is middle-aged? Because I still haven't peaked. So do you suggest that I do? Oh, hold a second. The question's coming in fast and heavy. If I didn't answer your question, by the way, leave it as a comment in this video and I will get to it. Okay? Because it's hard to answer all these because I'm too long-winded with my answers. Is a good place to live for a single middle-aged man who makes income remotely outside Japan and the USD? I guess so. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When I came to Japan and I was right off the boat, I did not like Japan. I didn't think I was going to be here this long. I didn't think Japanese girls were any particularly attractive, because I thought they were too cutesy and they didn't have the, I don't know. I didn't grow up reading manga and anime and stuff, so I just wasn't attracted to Japanese girls when I first got here. I thought the food was okay. I mean, I was still trying to go to Hard Rock Cafe for nachos and burgers, and after my year ended, I actually continued. I moved to Hiroshima for a bit and did some work for the headquarters of the school chain I worked with. Then I left and I said, I'm not coming back. And then I should do this as a separate live stream. I met a Japanese girl in Australia, and I said I can come back because I do the CEO of my company. We lost the gimbal battery. I knew the CEO of my company, and he said, just call me if you ever come back. So I called him, and he gave me another job. I picked the place, and she moved in, and then we broke up like 2 months later, and then I regretted it, and then I did it again. I don't think Japan is not. My point is Japan's not for everybody. You look at the problems that your country has, and the United States is still an amazing place to live. I don't know. I think the media and the TV, the heat is so high with complaints and negativity. You don't realize how great you have it in the United States and how so many people want to go there to live. So a lot of Americans ask me that all the time, and I said, you know what, you're crazy to want to live here, but if you do, in a land where there are earthquakes, we're expecting to have a mega earthquake. Once you survive a massive earthquake, you're like, what the heck am I doing here? Because they're quite often. You're in a place where I don't know. The culture is not what you think it is either. If you come here to live here, it's not the same as when you're a tourist. I'm just telling you, every single foreigner, maybe I say that loudly because it sounds impactful, but there's always one or two, including myself, has what's called a 6-month blues. It takes 6 months for the honeymoon period to die off, and every single foreigner that I know has left or gotten the blues so bad that they leave after a year. I'd say very few people actually stay here for an extended period of time. You got to learn to get over that, and that means probably learning the language and stuff and having a tolerance and everything like that. But if you're an American and you think living here is better, you got another thing coming. As I said, you are always watched, you're always judged. The society is harsh. The longer you live here, the more you're going to feel it. You think you get the best of both worlds, but really there's going to be points where you're so frustrated and going, oh, an American system is better than, oh, what did I just say? The American system was better? Oh, they do differently in America. Oh, what did I just say? America's not that bad. So a lot of Americans say, I've got a romantic view of America, and it is true. When you leave America, you really do appreciate the great things about America, but I also have a romanticized view, probably different than a lot of people who live there, about how friendly Americans are, how, in general, it's so true. Just look at our audience here. But if you come here and live here, you better visit, you better stay here for an extended period of time, and you better understand what you're getting into before you do decide to move here. With that said, if you learn the language and you find that it is for you, it can be an amazing place. But it is not all paradise and all, and I think that the ride for Japan is going to be bumpy over the next 10, 15, 20 years. But I was here through the radiation of up north after the Great Tohoku earthquake. I'm not leaving. I've been through the worst. I'm tested. I'm the Jack Bauer of Japan expat resident foreigners here. There's a couple Jack Bauers. But I've been tested and I'm not going anywhere, okay? I married local. I can't. All right, guys, take care. Thanks for the question. It got a little silly, but I appreciate it. David Y, thanks for reading my question. David, you're very welcome, my friend. Leave me questions in the comments, and I'll do another one of these, and we'll get back at it. And if you do give a super thanks, I will cut it out. And if you leave a question there, I will try to play that in the next live stream. I'm really grateful for that and all the support here. 2 more Daimyo packages. If you're interested in getting a package, I will send them out on Monday. With the Tommy Car and the apple pie Kit Kats and should I open it up? It's like, because the battery died. I'm going to open it up. We'll eat one. I think I have an extra one. I usually get one extra one. All right, inside you have 3, hard to hold it up, 3 bags of cakes here. One of them is the Montblanc, which is the taste of autumn, and this one is hojicha, which is the green tea. It's kind of the roasted green tea. So that's a really good one. It's got a brown color to it, so that's why. It's the autumn box here. I appreciate it. And it's also support. You also get a postcard with the Daimyo sign up, so you get this postcard. This is a Matsuyama Castle with the morning mist, which happens in the end of September. So that's this postcard for this month, and I really appreciate it. All right, guys, see you. Take care in the next live stream. I will be back with more stuff. Maybe I'll get outside of Tokyo real soon. Actually, on Monday, Kanai, Leo, and I are going to Nikko. So we'll do some live streams from Nikko, so you can get a chance to get out. So make sure you're subscribed. All right, guys, see ya.